This place has everything. In fact, the grass is damn green in Eugene.
That performance deserves a holy wallawa.
It's a feeling you cannot explain.
This place is louder than any other venue in the Big Ten.
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Welcome to the Big Ten, Oregon.
And welcome to that post-game show out west for that team out west. I'm Ted LaRue. This is going to take a deep breath, and this is going to be one of the biggest maybe that I say in the history of this program. Holy wallawa! The Ducks get it done on Big Ten Saturday night. Boy, was that a roller coaster. A roller coaster of emotions, and now we are able to sit here and talk about it. Okay, now normally when I get on this show, when we do a post game, I have my takeaways, I have my players. We're going to get into this thing right away. We're going to get into the chats right away. We're going to get into the calls right away. So without further ado, I am going to open up the phone lines right off the bat. It's going to be a long night. I will have my official reaction. I will have my official takeaways, but I know probably all of you are chomping at the bit to talk about this game right here and right now. And we'll kind of talk about it certainly here together. Phone lines are open, 541-357-6390. That's 541-357-6390. I couldn't be more happy to be wrong with my prediction coming into this game. And you know what? First thing I guess I will say is, how about that defense? For anybody that maybe had their doubts of what Oregon could do as far as the run defense is concerned, boy, this game kind of proved exactly what these guys could do. That run defense certainly came to play here today. Let's get into some chats right now, and we've got the TSOW Talk and Text line is open as well. So we're going to try to balance it all. We're going to try to get to it as quickly as we can and as efficiently as we can right now. So let's how about Dylan Thieneman? Dylan Thieneman got beat as a part of that touchdown pass. That made it 17-10, I believe, at that point. He comes back. He gets the interception to be able to seal the deal in redeeming fashion throughout this one. Wow. What a ball game and what a win. Oregon just was gutsy throughout this game. I thought when they went up 17-3 that was the point where it's like Oregon was really flexing their muscle. Penn State was doing absolutely nothing on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I think that goes into, I talked about it in my preview, I talked about it in my scouting report, where I thought Penn State was unimpressive. They were not very explosive. They were more really methodical than anything. And we saw a lot of that, I think, in the first half. A lot of credit goes to the secondary. It's funny. Penn State alumnus Todd Blackledge was talking about it on the broadcast. He was saying, you got to attack this true freshman, Brandon Finney. Specifically, Finney, he really didn't mention Ife Obadegwu, but he talked about the true freshman. You got to attack the true freshman. You got to attack the true freshman. Well, maybe people aren't attacking him because he's locking down that side of the field. This secondary played really well, and I thought that they had the advantage really coming into this game as well. So, big game. Big game. I had some text coming in on the TSOW Talk and Text line right now. We've got this from Little Fish in a Big Pond. Says, that game was an emotional roller coaster. I'll get on every day with Dan and this team. Dante was very impressive. The line played very well. The defense for 90% of the game was absolutely amazing. Go Ducks. And he says, P.S. I remember your pick. Never doubt Dan. Maybe I'll never doubt Dan, certainly, in the future as well. We got a text coming in here right now. This Rick from Eugene chiming in. Can we silence the bad run defense talk right now? I think for a lot of this game, specifically three quarters, as I said at the top of the show, I thought this run defense played extraordinarily well. I was really watching that, especially when they played well early in the game. I really watched the line of scrimmage because especially on the TV broadcast, on the TV copy, when you're watching the game live, right, they're shooting right at the line of scrimmage. So, it's hard on the TV copy to see, hey, what's the secondary way of doing stuff that's out of frame. But within frame is the line of scrimmage. And you can see which way it's being pushed. Now, I'd have to go back and watch the tape, and I will do that tomorrow. But I tell you, it was at the very least a stalemate 95% of the time. I said coming into this game, this defensive line needs to be able to play well. Okay, you can't allow Penn State to get that initial engagement, that initial push, get them to the second level. That's where the explosive runs from Katron Allen or Nick Singleton really come into play. Not only they were doing that, but they were playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Can we give a shout out to Mateo Uyunglele? He was fantastic in this game. I'd have to go. Wisconsin is a game from last year, was one that he had a great, of course, that game-sealing interception. He played really well in that game. I thought this game was one of the best that he's ever played, I think, in his Duck career. Maybe the stats won't say, hey, he had 3 sacks in a game or whatever, because he didn't in this game. But, man, he was in there, and he earned a lot of money. I'll say that. He earned a lot of money. We know Big Dave is going to be smiling from ear to ear after this one. Friend of the show, by the way, Big Dave Uyunglele. We got a text coming in here on the TSOW Talking Text line. This from John Quigley there from the 541. He says, I'm just glad Alex Harkey didn't cost us a game. Phew. Boy, so, yeah, that was one thing. And look, I mean, they said it on the broadcast. That was very much a, hey, second guy gets caught. I mean, there was some officiating that wasn't great, that kind of went back and forth a little bit, but, that's kind of what you get in a big game like this. Sometimes, calls go your way. Sometimes calls don't go your way. Like, for example, Isaiah World was getting beat a lot by Denai Dennis Sutton in this game. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. They probably could have got him for holding 2 or 3 times, probably at the very least. When he's matched up in there. So, some of the no calls and some of the calls, it does certainly go in both directions. So we certainly got to say that. Let's dive into some chats here. John Smith chiming in. I couldn't believe my eyes on that interception. It's funny. I'm watching this and, at the same time, I'm typing my recap over at Scoop Duck. Okay, which you can go check out. I posted my game recap over there. It's on the message boards and all of that. I'm kind of in the middle of writing something on deadline, right? And then I kind of look up and interception. I kind of hear that on the TV broadcast, and I kind of put my hands on the air and I go crazy. My wife was taking pictures at the time, so I might post those. We were watching the game out on the deck. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful night. I'm sure it was a beautiful night for the Duck fans out there in Happy Valley. As well. But what a way to finish that game with the interception. That is the exact same way that the Big Ten championship game ended as well, with Nico Reed getting the interception on Drew Aller back there in Indianapolis. We're going to jump around here. This is P. Ply in the live chat over on YouTube. Dante Moore looked so calm, almost looked like he was going to go to sleep. We got a call coming in here, so we will pause on that comment here for just a moment. Welcome to that. Hold on, let me unmute you. There we go. Welcome to that post-game show out west. Who's calling? Where are you from?
Washington.
From Washington, from up north. Give me your thoughts on the game. Big win for the Ducks. What kind of stood out to you today?
I think our defense played really well. We played better than I expected on defense. I feel like the score doesn't really show how well we played, but it was really good. Our offense started slow, but really came together in the second half.
Absolutely. I'll back you up there on the defensive side of the ball. And that was the big thing coming into this game, was like the run game, right? Penn State, Allen, Singleton, 4 out of 5 starters coming back up front on the offensive line. And, there were some parts, and maybe I nitpicked a little bit, maybe some other people nitpicked a little bit, where it's like, hey, a drive against Oregon State where they had 40 out of the 64 yards on the ground, and Northwestern a little bit, but they they came ready to play. Was there anything on the offensive side of the ball? You know, you talked about defense and how impressive that was. What kind of impressed you maybe on the other side of the ball?
Honestly, Dante Moore, he was very poised, and he wasn't in a hurry to leave.
Oh, we lost our caller there. Oh, you're back. Sorry for cutting you off there. Continue with your thought on Dante Moore.
I said he was very poised, and he wasn't quick to leave the pocket, and he had great decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Dante, so many times during this game, and I talked about it before, was like, and we kind of knew coming into this game that Isaiah World, he was going to be challenged. No doubt he was going to be challenged on DDS in this game. But Dante, like, if you weren't impressed, I think all of us were impressed with him against lower caliber competition. But going on the road in this type of environment, I mean, that's another level. That is another level of what he's able to do right there. A lot of people are going to be talking good about Oregon. A lot of people are going to be talking good about Dante Moore right now. Appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in today.
All right.
First caller in the books. We did have another call coming in there, and I clicked the wrong button in terms of how to put. I haven't put anybody on hold with this system before, so please call back in, Zarek. So I kind of hit the wrong button over there. But let's talk about Dante Moore a little bit, and we're going to pull up the box score here in just a moment. How about we pull up the box score so you all can kind of see what happened here? If I can figure this out, I'll figure it out at some point. But, Dante Moore in this game, you're talking 29 of 39. And here we go. We got another phone call coming in. You are on that post-game show at West. Who's this and where you're calling from this evening?
Arizona.
From Arizona. So we got one in Washington. We got one in Arizona. Big win for the Ducks. What do you got to say about this matchup?
I just had the question. Sorry about that. Let me turn this down.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
I just had the question, what happened to the defense? I thought we'd really switch out the defensive line. We really didn't do a good job about that. During the fourth quarter, I thought we knew they were going to run the ball, but we really allowed them to take over the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Before that, we completely dominated them. And it's a little frustrating because it was the exact same thing that happened last year in the Big Ten championship. Sure. And when we played Ohio State. And I really don't want to see us repeat the exact same thing again. Right. I really believe that we have like two sets of defensive linemen that we can bring in. Farrah Alexander was amazing, and
he was awesome.
Geez. Yeah. Why not swap him and Washington? I mean, between the four of them, I don't know. Sometimes you have to Mateo needs to come out, bring in somebody else just to be fresh for a down. I think in the fourth quarter maybe we lost a little bit of that, and that's why they were able to come back. And because we had dominated them, I thought we were a much better team than them.
Yeah, I very much agree with a lot of what you're saying right there. Right there in the fourth quarter, I thought Oregon had this game in when it was 17-3. I think it was late third, early fourth when they got in that scoring drive right there. And yeah, it was towards the end of the game. It was Penn State getting it done on the ground, and of course that Drew Aller touchdown pass as well. That's something where, Dan Lanning in some of these games that have gotten out of hand early in the season, he talks about finishing strong, like Northwestern was a big thing. This was one where if the Ducks don't get the job done, they don't get the W, they don't have the gutsy performance in overtime, this is something that I think you're talking about right here. That's going to be circled big time because, man, that run deep, coming into the game, I'm like, okay, let's contain Penn State. We're not going to stop Penn State. Let's contain them. And they stopped them. They shut the door. I think it was 13 carries, 24 yards, I believe it was, at halftime in this game. But, man, you talked about Bear. He was amazing. Mateo, I talked about before. He was amazing. But, yeah, of course, when you play a team like Penn State, like you're going to get worn down. And, I think that's maybe what you saw a little bit there in the fourth quarter. I got to do it on the rewatch to see exactly what schematically what happened at that point. Would you say that's like is that a big concern for you going forward, or how do you kind of view it? It looks maybe it's not as highlighted as much with the W, or kind of where do you kind of put the concern level, seeing how that one ended in the fourth quarter?
My concern is not that we can't stop the run. Clearly, we were very good at that. My concern is we didn't swap people out fast enough to keep people fresh.
Right.
Because if you keep people fresh, then you always have a good front four. And I thought the front four was the key to it. Betcher was like not non-existent, especially in the second half. And maybe they were tired, the front four, and they were always on Betcher. He didn't seem to be part of the fourth quarter. I mean, you never heard his name. You never saw him make any tackles. He kept getting pushed back when you heard his name. So, I just thought if we could do a better job at swapping out people, that's my – and it's not about this game, great win, but it's about the future. And I really care about the national championship. I don't really care about this game. We're probably going to go 11-1. I mean, that's what it looks like right now. But let's be honest, it's the first game after the season that really matters. And what can we do with that defensive line? And we know I totally trust every defensive back. I love these guys. That defensive back, and come on, the offense. Who can stop that offense? Nobody can stop that offense. Yeah. It's that front four which is going to win us a national championship.
And that's true. It's I hear you on kind of some of the depth, because that's all I talked about it during the offseason. A lot of people talked about it even during the season as well. What was the depth in the middle? Of course, where you have Amari and you have Bear to start, and then you have guys like Terrence Green and Tion Gray and guys like that. That's something I think that they're going to have to. I'm sure that we know this staff will nitpick the hell out of anything. So they're certainly going to nitpick that certainly going forward. So just getting that rotation right, because the reason you want depth is when you get into some of these big time situations is you want guys that are going to be fresh. And I think that's what you're getting at. Appreciate the call here tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. Great job you're doing. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah. That was one part where 17-3, Ducks have the lead, and then Penn State gets it going, and then they get one score, and then they get another score as well. So I'll have to really go back into that rewatch and see exactly what the fourth quarter really looked like, and see like what Penn State was doing well. Was it just a matter of playing against a really good, tough, physical Big Ten football team, and you kind of get worn down and you kind of get gassed? Is it a rotational issue that our caller just kind of got caught up there? Those are things in the rewatch that I think I'm very interested to be able to learn right now. Had a couple of voicemails on that call, so the phone lines are still open right now. If you want to try to call back in right now. So phone lines are open, 541-357-6390. Ducks getting the big win here tonight, 30-24 in double overtime. Let's kind of recap some of the stats right now and what really stood out to me. We talked about Dante and what he was able to do. De'Aaron Hill. Okay, can we talk about De'Aaron Hill for a moment? Deep breath, Ted. Okay, especially when Jaden Lamar got the ball, right? And that was nearly a fumble down there by the goal line in a situation where you got to be sound in your fundamentals. I kind of wanted to pull my hair out at times when Jaden Lamar was in this game. I'm not going to lie. Noah Whittington got out there to start the game. We didn't see him in like the second quarter. I think he got in there sparingly within the second half. I'll be very curious when Pro Football Focus has their total snap counts, exactly where Noah Whittington will be. But Whittington, 7 carries, 25 yards. We know he had been out the last couple of games. Said he probably could have gone last week. But De'Aaron Hill, man, 10 carries, 82 yards. When he touched the ball, good things happened. In Montana State, in Oklahoma State, the big touchdown run against Northwestern. 23 is the best back on this football team. Get Dier, Hill, the football, I don't care how you do it. And this was another example. When he gets the ball in his hands, big chunk plays happen. And you find more explosive plays in the run game. We got a call coming in here from the 541. So let's answer that right now on the TSOW talk and text line. You are on that post-game show at West. Who's calling and where are you from?
My name's Dustin. I'm from Pendleton.
Dustin
Oregon.
from Pendleton, Oregon. What's on your mind after this big win, 30-24 for the Ducks tonight?
Well, I was just on a space, and somebody was saying how Gary Bryant Jr. was suspect tonight, and I just want somebody to give him some props on here because he came in clutch in overtime.
Yeah, he made some big plays. When all was said. 6 catches, 55 yards. And a touchdown. I thought and that's kind of that veteran slot receiver kind of guy as well. When you need to make a play, I thought he made a play. Yeah, there was not really much to me that really stood out to be that was poor in his performance. Like you said, like you were maybe hearing from some other people in this game.
I guess they just said he was super quiet in the first half, and somebody said he had 3 catches, so I thought he only had 3 catches. He had 5.
No, final tally here as he has 6 catches, 55 yards. He had a 25-yarder in this game.
Yeah, so I just heard some people saying he didn't have a lot to do in the first half, but he came in really good. And yeah, he's very important to this team. If we need him.
He's huge. He's especially the way that was the 25-yarder was on the overtime drive, which would have been the start of the second overtime. I believe it was that first play where he made the play. He just, to me, he seems like the guy when, people are focused on Dak, people are focused on Kenyon Sadiq, Malik Benson. He's just a guy that's going to make that play coming out of the slot. And that's exactly what happened at the end of the game, right? He made the play, first play of overtime. So I thought Gary made the plays.
4th and 1.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's right. Getting that's another great example, I think, of what I'm trying to say right now is Gary makes the plays when they need to be made, right? He came in clutch at multiple times, I thought, throughout this game. Anything else that stood out to you today?
Actually, no. I just wanted to give Gary his props, man. I appreciate the time.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give Gary Bryant his due. Yeah, that's like I was just saying with the caller. He's the slot receiver. And boy, we're getting calls left and right here. All right, let's do it. But this is what this show is all about. You are on that post-game show at West. Who's calling? Where are you from? You are on that post-game show out West. Who's this? We can hear him. We can hear him in the background. Can you hear me? You are on that post-game show out West.
Yeah, I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming, originally from Albany, Oregon.
Cheyenne, Wyoming. Driven through Wyoming many times over the past couple of summers. Love that state. What has stood out to you through this game? What's the one thing you want to talk about here after this big win for the Ducks? Well, and just like that, the call ended. We'll hopefully get back from him here in just a minute. But while we're waiting, we've got a text here from the TSOW text line. Here, I'm trying to scroll back and find who this is. Zach from Atlanta. Zach from Atlanta, by the way, came up big with some good talking points for me during our preview episode. He says, we absolutely flipped the switch in overtime. Yes, this is good stuff. I can talk about this. Let's talk about the sequence of events to answer. But before we do that, we got a call coming in here on the TSOW talk and text line. You are on that post-game show out West. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Zach from Atlanta, by the way, came up big with some good talking points for me during our preview episode.
Hello?
Yes, you are on that post-game show out West. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hunter from York, PA.
Hunter from out east. What kind of stood out to you? What do you want to talk about here from the Ducks' 30-24 win?
I definitely thought even though our wide receivers, we lost Evan Stewart.
Yep.
Isn't there, maybe our wide receivers played really well. I thought definitely we came out of there with no injuries, which kind of helped out.
Yeah, I mean, we go all the way back to the spring, which seems so long ago at this point. I think there were some people when Evan Stewart got injured, who's going to step up? Early in the season, maybe not necessarily this game, but earlier in the season, it was Malik Benson. I thought he's did a great job this year. This game, just 2 catches for 11 yards. But like DeCorian Moore, there was one play. I'm having trouble remembering exactly when it was, but it was a big chunk play where he's kind of tied up with a defender and he's got the ball out there and he catches it with his hands with a defender draped on him, and not everybody can make that play. Not everybody has the strength to be able to make that play in that situation. They made some big plays. A caller before you was just talking about Gary Bryant Jr. making some clutch plays throughout this game. Kenyon Sadiq out there, he had 6 catches for 49 yards in this ball game as well. Anything else stand out to you? Anything else that you want to kind of talk about today that was big for this Ducks win?
I definitely did think. I know all week they were talking about all the analysts and stuff were talking about our run defense. I thought our run defense, even through the first like 3.5 quarters, I know they got running. Penn State got running the ball in the fourth. So I thought we did real well running stopping the run.
Oh, they were so good. They were so good, and I've really been looking forward to seeing what this defensive line could do in this game. Right, because you look at these first few games. Oklahoma State is a bad team. All these other teams that have been on their schedule haven't been very good. Oregon very clearly rose to the occasion today. This was a big stage for this defensive line, and they were playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage this whole game, and it was tough for Penn State to run the ball. Right, and we know they got it going in the fourth quarter, but that's what happens when you play a good team. That's what happens when you're in a 4-quarter game against one of the best teams in the country. So appreciate the call tonight.
All right. See ya.
All right. Thank you. We got more calls coming in here. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Avery. I'm calling from Washington.
Avery from Washington. This is our second caller from Washington here tonight. What stood out to you from the 30-24 win, big win over the third-ranked Nittany Lions?
There were a few things, but one of the biggest things I feel like is Mateo and Tatum Tuioti. I feel like, especially last season, people talked about them more as pass rushers, but they have just been like, they're almost known now for their run defense are a lot stronger in it. And it just I feel like it showed a lot in this game.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment. Okay, Mateo, and they mentioned it on the broadcast. I'm glad they did. They kind of cut up some clips during that one that talked about Mateo and what he can do from a run defense perspective. That was something I think coming into this season that Mateo, and he said this himself, that he was looking to improve on. We know what he could do from a passer standpoint. 10.5 sacks leading the Big Ten last year. But now you're really getting him in the run game. Can we talk about, and I have it on my notes somewhere when this happened, but there was a sequence where Tatum Tuioti made 2 fantastic plays where I think Drew Aller was trying to roll out, and it looked like Tuioti kind of bit inside a little bit, but then he bowed back out to the outside to keep Drew Aller from turning the corner. And then later on in the drive, he made a play in the backfield. Like, Tatum Tuioti has been playing just assignment sound football, keeping the edge, turning things to the inside all year long. And that was just a couple of play sequence that really stood out to me. He's not going to maybe be, get the high, Amari Washington, Mateo Uyunglele are probably players that, maybe from an NFL, of course, perspective are going to be looked at highly. But man, he is so good. And he's just always in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. I also, I feel like Dyer Hill,
yes.
He got to average 7 yards a run in this game. He's just explosive every time he touches the ball, and I feel like he could end up being maybe an RB1 at some point if he stays.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the deal is with Noah Whittington after this game, because we didn't see him really for that. It seemed like the whole second quarter, and then maybe a little bit into the third quarter. I think he's going to be RB1 at some point. I really do, unless Noah Whittington really bounces back. But he's just, when he touches the ball, great things happen. I've said it once. I'm going to say it a million times. You got to get this guy the football. He's going to create explosive run plays for you when it in big situations. So, all right.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. We got more calls coming in, baby. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
What can we do with that defensive line?
Oh, well, okay. A little bit of a lack of connection here, and we'll try it one more time. We'll try it one more time here. We're bearing with us. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from? All right, we'll move on to the next caller here.
One more time.
You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello, how you doing? My name's Frank. I'm calling from California.
Frank from California. Big Duck win tonight. What stood out to you here this evening?
Oh, man. What doesn't surprise me are the running backs, De'Aaron Hill and Jordan Davison. I mean, I expect that from Davison. He was a five-star recruit till he was hurt his senior year playing for Mater Dei. And, Mater Dei puts him out there.
That they do. He's been like, I've said this many times throughout the year, he's been inevitable. Like when it comes to a short yardage situation, a goal line situation, whatever it is, it's just, he's going to get the yards. It just happens. Like it doesn't even, I think they talked about, there was like a PFF stat where it's like 10 for 10 in some of these short yardage situations. I forgot exactly what it was.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like as soon as I know it's a couple of yards, I'm like, "But Jordan!" I'm yelling at the TV. I know he's coming.
I love to see it. Oh man.
Oh, great win. It was nothing that didn't surprise. I knew the crowd was going to get into it sooner or later, and I knew Penn State was going to make their little run. It didn't surprise me. It makes me pull out my hair, but it don't surprise me.
Yeah, I know. That was, one thing about the crowd, I will say this about the crowd, that Penn State, when Oregon's up 17-3, right? And they're they go up 10-3, 17-3, and they're really gaining momentum in this game. You could tell that crowd get really frustrated, right? And I don't know if anybody else heard it on the broadcast, but you heard Fire Franklin, in the student section there. I think it was towards the end of the first half, maybe. But but then when things got going a little bit more, the crowd got back into it, and I think that kind of fed into maybe Oregon getting a little bit stagnant there late in the second half, and then Penn State really getting that momentum back there towards overtime. Did anything else stand out to you in this game for the Ducks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the defense, Penn State, they made their adjustments for the second half because of the first half. I mean, the defense was on a roll there. Right. I forgot exactly how much yardage they had gave up, but it was like, wow, okay, let's play. But, teams are going to make their adjustments, and they did. And, we just pulled it out, though. Woo, that was a close one.
Man, my heart was racing in this one, man. My heart was racing.
Yeah. I almost had to take another blood pressure pill. I'm like, oh, no, let's not. Instant classic, though. Instant classic.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was a roller coaster there towards the end. But, man, just what a gritty effort for this team when Penn State had all the momentum late in this game, and then I'm assuming Dan, but, get these guys refocused. It's overtime. It's a brand new ball game, and they got it done. Appreciate the call.
Exactly. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. You were on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? My name is Antoine Young. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. It had me, my heart, like I said with the last caller, my heart was pumping a little bit there for a while, but the Ducks got the job done.
Yeah, we did get the job done, and my whole thing is we beat Penn State this week, but how are we going to get ready for next week with a huge, big test with Indiana coming up?
Yeah, got a bye next week, and then it's 2 weeks from now where it's going to be Hoosiers and Ducks. By the way, Indiana also has a bye. So both Oregon and Indiana going to have 2 weeks to prepare. Indiana, I did not watch any of the Indiana, easy for me to say, game versus Iowa. They won, I think, 20-15 today.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of have to dive into that film and see exactly what that looks like. But that's going to be at Autzen. That's going to be a big-time matchup. Could be a top 10 matchup. We'll see what the rankings look like when they come. But if there's one thing I think we know from Dan, he's going to keep these guys focused. He's going to keep these guys motivated despite the win. But yeah, that's one game. I know we're really focused on the moment right now, and we're focused on what's happening currently, but what's going to happen going forward to that big win against Indiana? And do you think, kind of having a bye week, you can see it a couple of different ways where it's like, hey, you won a big game, you want to get on the field 7 days from now and keep the momentum going, or how do you kind of view having a bye week after such a big emotional win like this?
I think a bye week I think a bye week might benefit Oregon a lot because I think they left it all out on the field tonight. They left it all out on the field tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of times, sometimes the bye week allows you to refocus a little bit with 2 more weeks, a little bit more time, but it's also going to be a lot more time where people, maybe like me, are going to be telling you how great they are. Anything else that you wanted to touch on with your time this evening?
I'm going to look into the future and go ahead and say it now. De'Aaron Hill is somebody that everybody in the world need to watch out for.
They need to know. We heard it all during fall camp. There was many, no matter what website or reporter you follow, all of them were saying it. They were all saying De'Aaron Hill is impressing. He's the best running. He's maybe the most talented running back in fall camp. We've seen it. We've seen it against lower competition, and now we see it against higher competition. That dude is just that. He's a dude. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, sir. I'm confident in the Ducks this year. Let's roll.
Let's
Ducks.
roll. Let's do it. Go Ducks. Appreciate it. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this?
This is Brad from Eugene, Oregon.
Brad from Eugene, from headquarters. Big win tonight, 30-24. What do you want to talk about?
All right. Hey, I thought, all week, all month, I've been hearing about Dante Moore. Could he handle the pressure?
What has stood out to you through this game? What's the one thing you want to talk about here?
And everybody's saying, well, white out.
Yep.
While we're waiting, we've got a text here from the CSOW text line.
You still with me?
This is Zach from Atlanta.
We'll try to get back with him. There might be a little bit of a delay certainly going on there. I want to touch on one thing. For just a moment, and it's with Jeff. Jeff's a member over at Scoop Duck, so we got to shout out Jeff Hagan here. There was a big-time recruit, a big-time commitment for Oregon on campus today, Emmanuel Ahinacho. We'll get to that here in just a minute. You are on that post-game show.
This is Brad from Eugene, Oregon again.
We've got Brad. We're reconnected here. We're going to get you in. Big
Brad
win for
from Eugene.
Big win for the Ducks. What stood out to you today? We'll try to get connected. We're motivated to get with Brad here in just a moment here. All right. You are on.
Reconnected here.
You were on that post-game show out west. Who's this?
Big win for the Ducks. What stood out to you today?
Hello.
Hey, you are on that post-game show out west. Brad from Eugene, right?
Yes, this is Dave from Lebanon, Oregon.
Oh, we got Dave. We got Dave from Lebanon, Oregon. My apologies. Big win for the Ducks. We've been asking callers what has stood out to them, maybe players or just themes overall, but I'll let you have the floor here.
Well, what stands out most of all is Oregon's defense. They shut down Penn State for 3.5 quarters on the run game. They allowed, I think, 74, 75 yards up to halfway in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, not exact. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right in the fourth quarter is when they started to get it going. I'm not exactly sure what the rushing yardage was at, like at the end of the third quarter, for example. But here's one thing. I'll kind of read this. I got the box score pulled up here. Katron Allen led Penn State in rushing, 12 carries, 54 yards. What's interesting to note is the second leading rusher was Drew Aller. Okay, what he was able to do kind of getting loose on some of those plays. He had 9 rushes for 42 yards. So when you're talking about it sheerly from a running back perspective, Allen and Singleton, 54 yards from Allen, 11 carries, 21 yards for Singleton. So if I can do some quick math, that's 75 yards from Allen and Singleton in this game. If you're telling me before this game, Allen and Singleton are going to combine for 75, it'd be like Ducks win. And that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, by the way, I've been a Oregon Duck fan since 1985 when one of my buddies from Milwaukee High School, Lattenberry fullback, got a scholarship with Oregon Ducks. That's how long I've been following the Oregon Ducks, and I'm a proud supporter of them.
Yeah, I mean, you've been through the thick and thin of it, you know. Of course, through the rise throughout the 2000s. You know, I mean, what's been the biggest? Did you ever imagine when you were following this team, maybe throughout the 80s in those early years, that Oregon would get to this point?
I always kind of had that hope and that dream that they would someday, you know, rise to the, you know, Michigan, the Ohio State, Alabama, LSU level. You know, I've really been waiting for that for all my life, and here they are playing in the Big Ten and getting some recognition from those teams out east. It's really amazing.
All right, I appreciate the call. Go Ducks.
All right, thank you, sir.
You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, you are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm from Eugene, Oregon. My name is Brad. I called in earlier. How are you doing today?
We got you. We are motivated to connect with Brad from Eugene, and I think we got you dialed in here. 30-24 win from the Ducks.
All month, all week, ever since the beginning of the 2025 season, I've heard about Dante Moore. Can he handle the pressure when it comes to Penn State and these big games? And I really feel that he stood up and made a statement today. I got his autograph earlier this year, and I told him, I said, you're going to be Oregon's next Heisman Trophy winner. And anyway, he just kind of smiled, and it was like, great. It was like, and then also their defense. You know, I've heard a lot about them not being able to hold up to the Penn State offensive rushing. And anyway, they stood up tonight and they said, you know, no, we're not going to let you run. And they forced Drew Aller to pass the ball down the field. They forced them to pass the ball down the field, and they covered that. They made a statement and said, you're not going to pass the ball, you're not going to run the ball, Penn State. And, you know, I was really proud of the Oregon Ducks, you know, and I've been watching them for years. I've been a Oregon State or Oregon fan since like 1972. And anyway, I was really proud of them. And I think this was really a statement game.
It was a statement. It was a big-time statement. You made a good point. You know, you put the ball, and maybe this is a little bit of a blueprint for teams that play Penn State later in the year. You put the ball into Drew Aller's hands, you feel like you got good corners that can match up with these receivers, you can win, you can beat Penn State that way. And I think that was the matchup coming into this game, where I thought, you know, that Oregon had the advantage out there on the perimeter. I mean, these guys that's Iffy on one side, Finney on the other side are just awesome. I mean, these guys are awesome. Their size, their length, their speed, and they proved it today. And I think that's what allowed them to get out to that big lead. Appreciate the call.
All right, Chad.
All right, we got Brad from Eugene in there. We had a commenter, Jeff Hagan. I was interrupted here before. Gladly interrupted, by the way. Let's keep those phone lines hot. Let's keep it going. This is really my first time, so bear with me. It's my first time taking this volume of calls, so sometimes the calling you might hear some beeps and some people on hold a little bit. So we're trying to get it as good as we possibly can. I think I fixed one of the issues so far right now, but I appreciate them. Let's keep it coming in, and also some commenters got in there as well. Mute your YouTube stream when you call in. Right, so make sure we're just having a phone call back and forth. Let's get to some texts, but before we do, Emmanuel Ahinacho, he is the top Oregon offensive line commitment, 5-star offensive lineman tackle. Penn State is recruiting him hard. He was on campus in Happy Valley, and Oregon got the win. So does it lock up his recruitment? Probably not. LSU's been in that recruitment certainly as well, but certainly a big time statement in terms of that, and it's certainly going to help that in that recruiting battle that's going to go on into December. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Jordan from Washington, D.C.
Jordan from the East Coast over there in our nation's capital. Ducks big win, 30-24. What'd you love tonight?
Oh man, just the performance from the young guys, from the inexperienced guys. I think the Ducks definitely found the RB1 tonight in De'Aaron Hill. Dante Moore, been a fan of him since high school. My only worry though is that I think Oregon might only have him for another 11 or so games. He might be quarterback one tonight in the draft as far as it goes. It played so poised beyond his years. It was just a great win. And
if I was on a podcast, NFL draft guy Todd McShay was talking about that this week and be like, dude, Dante Moore is the most talented quarterback in the country. And, I think we've seen some of those SEC quarterbacks that were hyped up early this season to be like, oh, yeah, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, Sellers over at South Carolina. Dante Moore has been the best. And this performance, man, I just tell you what about Dante. He just made clutch key throws through, like, in every situation. He just came up big, whether it was a third down, whether it was a fourth down. Dante always made a play. And this type of performance was going to be, I was really watching Dante to see how he would respond into those moments where there was a lot of pressure on him. And boy, he came cool as a cucumber into this whiteout. And as this game went on, third downs, fourth downs, like I said before, he made them time after time after time. And when you get into a playoff game, maybe a Big Ten championship, whatever. We're really focused on the playoffs later on in the year, but you get into that type of situation, I think you got a guy back there that can take on all this pressure, that can make those kind of plays when it really matters.
I completely agree, man. And even that game-winning throw, the ability to what do you do? Avoid the pressure. That he was going to take a sack right there and throw that to Bryant. That was like Aller just doesn't make that throw. And Cade Klubnik doesn't make that throw. Nussmeier, based on what we've seen, doesn't make that throw.
Right.
It was just amazing play, and I'm just excited to see how much they rise up the polls tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd have to see. It looks like LSU lost today. They were number 4. I'm not sure what happened with Georgia and Alabama and how that turned out. I know Bama was in front. I would probably Bama end up winning. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would say at least 3. Of course, Ohio State was number 1. They beat Washington today. So Miami was certainly up there. I feel pretty good about 3. We'll see if they kind of vault them over Miami to get to number 2. But right now, I mean, Oregon and Ohio State. Where have we seen this movie before? I mean, these two teams, excuse me. They could be destined for a clash in Indianapolis. Oh man, right. I might have to make a trip to Indianapolis if that one happens.
Definitely. I'm gonna let you go, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You do a great job. And I just hope congratulations to the Ducks, Dan Lennon. He always has them ready to play, and just get ready for Indiana in a couple of weeks.
I appreciate it, my man.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. We are humming here today. So appreciate the Alabama score update for me today. But right now, Oregon, Ohio State, Miami. right now are the three teams that really stand out. Considering the information that I was just given with the Georgia losing to Alabama, the SEC looks a lot kind of like last year, where you got a lot of meat in the middle, and you're going to have maybe teams beating each other up a little bit. I'm not sure if I see a national championship contender right now. Let's get to some text while we're waiting here on the phone lines. Here's the text from one of our texters, trying to find the name and where they're from. Rick from, I think, Eugene, but I'm not positive. Yes, Rick from Eugene. Rick from Eugene says, give Tosh Lapoy his flowers. His defense was outstanding. I know there's been a lot of things said about Tosh Lapoy, and I certainly think this defensive performance is going to quiet it a little bit. Even though Penn State is not they're not the biggest and baddest offensive team. I think where Penn State is really going to make their money is, being physical with the run game, and of course leaning on the defense, specifically the defensive line that can get after it. So, even though they're not the most explosive offense in the world, having this type of defensive performance specifically against the run game, specifically up front on the defensive line, they were fantastic early in this game. I know the fourth quarter, maybe that had something to be desired a little bit, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. This was certainly a statement performance as far as the defensive side of the ball is concerned. I got a text as well coming in here that one texter kind of came in, and I saw Dan Lanning talk about that this week. Do you know if Evan Stewart is coming back this season? There were a lot of people that maybe had a little bit of optimism when you talk about Evan and what Dan was able to say this week. I still have hope, maybe towards the end of the year. And boy, doesn't that open a can of worms. If you can get Evan Stewart back, let's just say for the playoffs. Let's not even say the regular season. If you can get Evan back for the postseason, and now you've got Evan, and now you got DeCorian Moore and Kenyon Sadiq, and that just adds another layer, I think, to what Oregon can do. But we'll certainly cross that bridge when we come to it. Ducks getting the big 30-24 win here tonight over the Penn State Nittany Lions. Whoo, baby! Two-Ton Tony coming in, member of the Sport Chat Familia over there. Ryan was in Happy Valley tonight, by the way. He says, Ted, go Ducks. Rich Loring, talk about a full circle. How awesome it was to have Dante Moore come back to Oregon. Okay, I want to touch on this from the best channel in the world. This was a big swing in the game. Noah Whittington, where his knee barely touched the ground. I mean, Penn State would have gotten the ball with good field position. Now, Penn State, of course, they made the run later in the game anyway. So who knows how the game would have turned out if that play would have been upheld. But that was certainly a big swing and a big sigh of relief at that point in the game for Oregon. The slimmest of margins. It is truly a game of inches, as they said from Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday, and it was truly a game of inches here today. Got a text coming in. Rick from Eugene on the TSOW Talking Text line. Once again, they earned it. It was shutting down the best running back duo in the entire country. We go back and kind of look at what specifically some other players and some other things that stood out to me during this game. A lot of people have talked about De'Aaron Hill, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, man. He was awesome. Let's take a look at the defensive side of the ball. I know there was a caller before talking about Bryce Betra and maybe his lack of involvement. He had 12 tackles in this game. That led. This is we said it last week. His only double-digit tackle games as a member of Oregon have come against either Washington or Oregon State, the rivals. But this game, he came to play. He had 12 tackles. Tatum Tuioti had 5. Tuioti had a sack. Mateo Uyunglele, talked about him earlier in the show. He had a sack and 2 tackles for loss. He also had a PBU in this contest. He was awesome. And if you kind of watched him throughout the game, and there's a lot of things when I'm watching an Oregon game, I kind of see like early on, a player, really standing out to me. He's doing good. He's doing good. He's doing good. And then I kind of keep an eye on him. And now I'm watching number 10 going up. I believe it was Drew Shelton. I'm not sure if it was Drew. Yeah, it was Drew Shelton. Nolan Rucci, I think, was on the other side against Tatum Tuioti. But against Shelton, he's just winning battle after battle after battle after battle, and he's getting upfield. And of course, he didn't get to Drew Aller every single time, but he certainly shrunk the pocket. I think throughout the majority of this contest as well. Oh, man, what else we got? I thought Jaden Kennedy stepped up and made a couple of big plays. Jaden Kennedy, I think, is a player for Oregon that's really impressed me so far. A veteran transfer coming over from Ole Miss was very good. Amari Washington in the middle of the defensive line, 5 tackles, 2 solo tackles within this game. John from Eugene comes in. I didn't know grass counted as down. Cut your grass. Cut your grass, Penn State, or get turf. Having been in Big Ten country here for a while, Northwestern and their old stadium over there at Ryan Field, always, that's been a venue where people, oh man, you come out slow and sluggish a little bit when you face off against Northwestern and all that, because it felt, they got the long grass over there at Ryan Field, and that was always kind of a running joke throughout the Big Ten. But yeah, the grass did not certainly help out Penn State in this game, and certainly helped Oregon get into the end zone on that particular drive as well. Oregon with the big 30-24 victory over the Oregon Ducks in this matchup here today. What a game. What a game, and there it is. We bring up the box score here. I talked about Bryce Betcher and his 12 tackles. I've talked about De'Aaron Hill. I've talked about Dante Moore. DeCorian Moore made some big catches at key moments in this game. A freshman stepping up in a big-time environment. The thing about these young guys that really sticks out to me is just like, especially in this game, when plays needed to be made, it didn't matter if you were playing high school football last year. You stepped up. And you helped your teammates, and you made a play. DeCorian was one of those guys, of course. De'Aaron Hill was one of those guys. Brandon Finney, was one of those guys. Finney won't be talked about a lot during the broadcast because he kind of sectioned off a portion of the field. Yeah, awesome. 7 catches, 89 yards for DeCorian Moore within this game. Awesome win. More from Rick from Eugene. Ducks got it done. Wow. P.S. Lanning looked emotional at the end of the game. There's something different about Dan this year. I mean, he's just, I don't know if it was how the way the season ended last year or what exactly it is, but this team has a different juice to it. He talks about connection, and he's talked about it leading up to this season. This team's got a totally different type of connection. Ricky from Eugene goes on to say, what a statement win for Lanning. That's so impressive how young this team is. Phone lines continue to be open, 541-357-6390. That's 541-357-6390. We have had some hot phone lines here tonight, and I appreciate it. Ducks 30, Oregon 24 in a double overtime classic. Oregon proved in this game that they can win in any type of environment. Oregon proved during this game that they can win in any type of way. We have seen the Ducks light it up. Right? Oklahoma State, you went up and down the field, and you did exactly what you needed to be able to do. But this was more of a Big Ten slugfest type of matchup against Penn State. And they matched the physicality of the Nittany Lions throughout this matchup. That's what made this, I think, so fun. This is an Oregon team. I've said this about other Big Ten teams the last couple of years, Michigan and Ohio State. We'll get to that in just a moment. We've got a call coming in on the TSOW Talk and Text line. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ruben, calling from Eugene, Oregon.
Ruben, my man, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great, man. How does it feel to beat the Penn State line?
Oh, my gosh. I am pumped. I was sitting there out on the deck watching this game, and I was, when Penn State was making that run a little bit, got a little bit nervous, but, man, that overtime really showed the resiliency of this team.
I was pulling my hair out for sure. But, hey, want to talk about, I guess we all talk about Dante Moore again, but
sure.
I'll tell you what, he is him. He showed up on the big game, and I'm so happy for him.
he's the he's the best quarterback in the country. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I kind of looked and I've kind of paid attention to a lot of these guys, specifically in the Big Ten, but of course other conferences. And I think like when Dante was putting up those performances earlier in the year, and I was kind of looking, okay, yeah, John Mateer's doing something, and all these, some of these other guys. Of course, Mateer's injured now. Some of these other guys are doing something, and this was the performance that's going to vault him over the top. This is that performance that's going to vault him into that Heisman type of conversation. And now how is he going to react? How is he going to handle a lot more pressure? I have all the confidence in the world right now. You go into Penn State and make that many clutch plays every single time. I mean, you're going to be in that conversation. And I got a lot of trust that when Oregon gets in big games, we're going to have one in a couple of weeks against Indiana. USC, even though they took a loss today, we'll see how they bounce back. But, that's going to be a big game regardless, considering, of course, where these two teams sit right now. But, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome out there.
Well, I'm glad that you got to enjoy it. But anyways, I thought I'd just give a shout out. Glad that you were able to enjoy it. Go Ducks.
Ruben, you're the man. You're the man. I saw Ruben earlier this summer. We hope to see you again sometime in the near future. But all right, let's go Ducks.
Make it out to Oregon to one of the games.
Absolutely. All right, we thank Ruben from Springfield chiming in here on that post-game show out west. And I've been dealing with problems with my lights in the studio, so that's maybe why I look a little bit dark, so we can bring this light a little bit closer to me right now. Oregon 30, Penn State 24. Could we be destined for an Ohio State-Oregon Big Ten championship game? Certainly seems like maybe it's going that direction, but the Ducks have got to be able to focus on what's coming up here down the pike. We got a text coming in here. The Ducks are amazing. Dante is an absolute true superstar. You are on that post-game show out west. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. I just have one thing to say.
Sure.
Dante Moore, Heisman.
Let's go. He's going to be
Hill. Incredible. Best court. Just De'Aaron Hill, amazing. Best running back I've ever seen.
Well,
at Oregon.
We got a long way to go. We still got LaMichael James. We still got Kenyon Barner, and there goes the caller. But, he's certainly got the potential, I think, to be able to get to that point. He's got that big playability, I think, that we've seen from some Oregon running backs over the years. And maybe that big playability that we've been kind of waiting for a little bit. No disrespect to Jordan James. No disrespect to Bucky Irving. But, when you talk about, that explosiveness that you've seen over the past with, like I said, the LaMichael James and the Kenyon Barners and all of those guys, De'Aaron Hill has that in him. He has that type of ability. There's no doubt about that. Our last text was Tammy from Springfield, Oregon here tonight. Oh, big win. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to have a show coming up on Monday for sure. After this show is done, I'm probably going to record a specific takeaway segment. That's usually about 10 or 15 minutes. So that'll be up on the YouTube side. And, it's going to be a big night, big win for the Oregon Ducks over the Penn State Nittany Lions. Whoo, baby. This one was big going into the whiteout on the road. I think last year was one thing with Ohio State. What a lot of people say is the best environment that they've ever seen within Autzen Stadium. But, to be able to, within Autzen Stadium, but now to be able to go on the road and to be able to do it against one of the best teams in the country in Penn State. Yeah, so huge. Sean Taylor, chiming in. Indiana at Oregon in 2 weeks. Top 10 matchup at Autzen. I doubt game day since at Penn State today. And I think there's Texas-Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. But no doubt who is in control of the Big Ten after the game. Look, Ohio State, I thought they would be, maybe a little bit more convincing against Washington here today. But such is life. But yeah, I think it's Oregon and Ohio State are clearly the best two teams in the Big Ten, right? We haven't, I don't think we're counting out Penn State quite yet. But here's the thing about Penn State. Okay, I'm not making a proclamation right now that Penn State is not going to make the playoff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. They got to play Ohio State on the road. They got to play Indiana at home. Okay? You still got 2 games against 2 really good teams. We'll see what Indiana looks like, going forward, especially after that game against Oregon coming up on the road at Autzen. So, but man, there's a world. I'm not saying it's a realistic world, but there's a world out there where maybe Penn State doesn't get into the tournament. They're not in the dance, maybe when all is said and done. So, all right, man. Huge night for the Ducks. Appreciate everybody for coming in here on this live stream this evening. I'm going to do a quick last check of it, see if we had any other text messages coming in. I think we're all up to date, certainly right now. So, man, big win. Big win for the Ducks. Huge win. Everybody's thrilled. Everybody's pumped up after tonight. I think we're going to shut it down for this one. Thank you for everybody that called in and that's a part of this show. We're doing our best to provide as much great Oregon Ducks content as we possibly can. We're going to have a show on Monday. I'll have my takeaways definitely posted on tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So we got it dialed in. Want to appreciate everybody for coming in here tonight. Ducks 30, Nittany Lions 24. Until next time, I'm Ted LaRue. This has been That Show Out West. Holy Wallawa! Ducks win!